In the past few weeks, Alex Bowman's future with Hendrick Motorsport has come into doubt. Although he is qualified for the playoffs, his performance after his win in Chicago has not been meeting the team's expectations. His results have been average at best. But for a team like Hendrick Motorsports, average won't cut it. Hendrick Motorsports is one of the top teams in NASCAR. They are one of only 3 teams in NASCAR that run 4 charters on the grid. From next year, they will be one of only 2 since SHR will no longer be on the grid. But we're not going anywhere in 2025. We'll continue to serve you with the latest and best NASCAR news, so don't forget to hit that subscribe button for our channel. With the talent HMS has, they expect their drivers to be consistently fighting at the front of the field. Alex Bowman has not been doing so for the past 3 years. In 2022, Bowman had to miss 4 races due to a concussion, and in 2023, he missed 3 races due to a back injury. Bowman received a waiver for these injuries, but despite the waiver, Bowman did not qualify for the playoff last year and was knocked out in the first round of the playoffs in 2022. This year, he took part in all the races and won a chaotic Chicago street race. However, his future with HMS is still in doubt. Just last year, Bowman signed a contract extension to remain with the team until the 2026 season. But this means nothing if he does not perform. It's not easy to be a NASCAR driver, especially with a team like HMS. Over the last few days, there have been rumors suggesting that Bowman's sponsor could pull out due to his disappointing results. This rumor sparked as there was speculation that HMS might replace him. That rumor has certainly been annoying, said Bowman during NASCAR Playoff Media Day on Wednesday. Obviously, my contract is through the end of 2026. All I can tell you is like what my bosses have told me, and that is that there are no plans to change anything. Yeah, rumors are just rumors. Hopefully, they'll get their announcements done so my rumors stop, obviously. Yeah, as far as I know, I'm driving the number 48 next year. When pressed on if there's any chance he could be out at HMS, Bowman added, I don't think so. I trust my bosses, and that's what they've told me. So yeah, other than that, just focused on trying to be strong the next 10 weeks. Given that these rumors were coming from several sources, it had Bowman worried. He wanted to get his team's response on the same as well. Yeah, I mean, for me, like that's a rumor that I've heard for a month, he explained. It got to the point where I picked up the phone and called everybody, and everybody said, absolutely not. So that's really all I have to go on, and I don't have a reason to believe anything other than that. There's no, oh, you need to do this to keep your job. Like it's absolutely not. Everything's fine. Despite HMS telling him that there is nothing to worry about, they might still replace him. However, we can expect them to wait until Bowman's playoff run is complete. If Bowman is knocked out of the playoffs in the first couple of rounds, HMS will start looking at options to replace him. So going into the playoffs, Bowman will want to give everything possible to make it as far as possible in the playoffs. There is very little chance that he will make it all the way, but never say never. We need to go run better. It's been a miserable month, admitted Bowman, who enters the playoff with 5 straight finishes of 16th or worse. We haven't executed on a high level at all, so we need to go run better in the next 10 weeks. But we need to do that for us and our playoff run, for Ally and the number 48 team. There's no, you need to do this to keep your job. As far as I know, I'm not worried about that at all. Although Bowman admits that there is no pressure to keep his seat, HMS and his sponsor, Ally Financial, will be keeping a close eye on him. Even if Ally Financial decides to pull out of their sponsorship deal due to his performances, it could cause HMS to look for a different driver as well. Alex Bowman has been a full-time driver for Hendrick Motorsport since 2018. His best performance over the course of a season came in 2020, where he finished 6th in the playoffs. But the team is expecting more from him. Bowman stands last among the 4 HMS drivers on the grid. But this won't matter if Bowman is able to get a good run going in these next 10 races. The way NASCAR is structured, the regular season races don't matter a lot once you're qualified for the playoffs. Hendrick Motorsport's direct competitor at the moment is Joe Gibbs Racing. The team seems to be the strongest as they run the Toyota cars, which seems to have a small edge over the Chevrolet, which is run by Hendrick Motorsports. This season, Christopher Bell and Martin Truex Jr. look good to win the Cup Series championship. HMS will be throwing everything they can to prevent that from happening. For that to happen, HMS will need all their drivers fighting at the front. But not just this year. HMS will need to provide a strong fight to JGR next year as well. This is mainly because next year, JGR will have a new driver in their lineup. Chase Briscoe will be replacing Martin Truex Jr., who's retiring after this season. If HMS feels that Bowman can't help the team fight against the JGR drivers, they will want to replace him. Now the question is, who will replace Bowman if the decision has to be made? Looking at the NASCAR grid, there are a few drivers who could be on the shortlist for the HMS seat. And given that HMS is one of the best teams in the sport, every driver will be interested in joining the team. Kyle Busch is one driver who could replace Bowman if necessary. Busch previously drove for Joe Gibbs Racing, hence has experience driving for a huge team, with the championship at stake. Plus, Busch has even stated that he would jump ship if JGR or HMS were to offer him a seat. But as it stands, Busch has a contract to drive for Richard Childress Racing until the end of the 2025 season. But as I said before, contracts don't mean a thing if their performance is to be there. In this case, RCR has not been providing Busch with the right car, so Busch may not hesitate to jump to a better team. Justin Allgaier is also one of the favorites to get the HMS seat should they want to replace Alex Bowman. Allgaier drove in the number 5 car when Kyle Larson wasn't able to make it for the start of the Coke 600, as he was attempting the double and it got delayed in Indiana. Allgaier finished 12th in that race, which is pretty impressive for someone who started from the back of the grid. In the Xfinity Series, Allgaier is leading the points table and is one of the favorites to win the Xfinity Championship, so he probably has the strongest case to become the next driver for HMS. Another driver who could replace Alex Bowman is Sam Mayer. The 2024 season is Mayer's 3rd season in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Last year, he was a championship contender and ended up finishing 3rd. He also won a couple of races this year and could become a strong contender for the championship during the playoffs. Given these 3 options, HMS will most likely go for Justin Allgaier. Although Kyle Busch is an experienced driver who has already won a Cup Series championship, he is also a bit old and may not have too many years of racing left in him. The latter seems to be a better option for Sam Mayer and Justin Allgaier as he has more experience driving in the Cup Series championship. Plus, Allgaier has proven that he can be consistent with his performance in the Xfinity Series this year. So now the only question is, will Hendrick Motorsport pull the plug and get rid of Alex Bowman? Bowman has another 10 races to prove that he can perform well for Hendrick Motorsports for the remainder of his contract. If he does not do so, HMS may not have any other option but to pull the plug on him. These next 10 races this year are going to be very interesting. This year has been extremely unpredictable compared to the last few seasons. There are multiple drivers and teams gunning for the title, and anything can happen. Do you think Alex Bowman can recover from his string of bad performances during the playoffs? Post your thoughts in the comment section below.